I know you're not offended, but that doesn't mean the spirit of offense won't attack you. Listen, my brand new course, Waging War on Offense, is on Ultra Early Bird right now. Don't miss it. This is going to help you see behind the veil at the demon powers that have come to steal, kill, and destroy your relationships, your finances, your career, your ministry, your mind. I'm telling you, this is deep and it's practical, and this is the course you've been looking for. It's not about you being offended. It's about people being offended with you, the offense working through them to attack you, and of course, yes, eventually you may find yourself offended, but you don't have to. You're not going to fall into that trap, and you're going to know how to combat this spirit when it comes at you in the spirit realm or through people. Now let's get into today's broadcast. Hey guys, Jennifer LeClaire here again, back with another episode of Hand to Hand Combat. I'm here with my good friend Ryan Johnson from Ryan Johnson Ministries. We just got going on this topic of offense, and I felt there's such a wind on this topic, probably because there's a deliverance for you in it if you're struggling with offense. Few things we need to address. One of the things the Lord showed me when you were talking, we were speaking in the last episode about not taking on another's offense and how you can stand with someone who is being attacked without ever throwing a dart. And here's the thing. If we remember from Scripture, in Jonathan and David. Now, Saul was trying to kill David. He was trying to kill him. Now, Jonathan interceded for him. Jonathan gave him a tip. Yeah, my dad's after you. Jonathan wept with him. Jonathan gave him his armor. They had a covenant. Mm-hmm. This wasn't just ministry friends. They had a covenant together. But when David was under attack, Jonathan did not walk around in the wilderness with him. Jonathan wasn't in the cave with him. And David could have been offended by that. But David wasn't. He didn't expect Jonathan to have to suffer that with him. That was his battle. Mm-hmm. So, and actually, the right way to have looked at the thing was that, hey, Jonathan's where Jonathan needs to be. He is. I wouldn't want. If I'm under attack, I don't want you just because you're running. I don't want you to be under attack. I don't want you to take my darts. I want you to pray for me, but I don't want you to get caught up in my, issue. And so we have to remember, again, don't take up somebody's offense. It's a bad situation. Paul, was it Paul and Silas with Mark? Or was it Barnabas? It was Barnabas. Paul and Silas they had issue with each other over this thing. Now you don't see Paul telling Timothy, hey, don't go hang out with Barnabas. I'm offended with him. You don't see Paul writing, in the Bible, watch out for Barnabas. He sided with Mark. You don't see this petty stuff in the Bible. You see walk in love, walk in joy. And so we just have to be very careful not to take on that offense.
Well, it's interesting because you mentioned David and Jonathan, and David probably had every right to say, well, you're on Saul's side.
Yeah.
But realistically, before Jonathan had a relationship with David, Jonathan had a relationship with Saul.
Yeah.
So David knew in the wisdom, I can't destroy that relationship just because I have a relationship. Then you flip to Paul and Barnabas. When you dissect that word and you get the definition of that Greek word, when Paul and Barnabas argued, the understanding of that word is they had a knockdown drag out over John Mark. And it really got very, in our understanding, very hateful between the two when you understand that word. So they have this strong disagreement over the maturity of John Mark. Paul refused to have anything to do with John Mark in that. Now, here's what's interesting about that, though. So they separate and they go their separate ways. Barnabas goes with John Mark, and eventually Silas comes with Paul.
Yeah.
When you fast forward through the Scripture, eventually Paul takes John Mark with him. Yeah. So there's a right way to handle this. You can have a strong disagreement and you just say, I can't run with this person. I can't be a part of what this person's doing in that moment. And even in the midst of the strong disagreement, there's a way that time permits you to eventually learn how to work with that person. Because Paul didn't reject John Mark as an individual. He rejected the timing of John Mark because of immaturity. Right. Eventually, John Mark grows, he matures, and out of that, he takes him on with him, and greater things are advanced. So sometimes, one of the things that I'm learning is rejection is not always the opportunity to be offended. Rejection is also an opportunity, is in itself to create opportunity.
Yeah.
What will you do? Will you use it as opportunity, or will you use it as offense? And John Mark could have totally took offense at Paul for rejecting him. I wasn't good enough for you 5 years ago. Yeah. Now all of a sudden I'm good enough for you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good word. That's a really, really good word. And that's the best possible outcome. There are times, when whether it's family, or whether it's brothers and sisters, or whether it's coworkers, sometimes the enemy does find a way in. Sometimes there is a legitimate concern that will cause you to separate. But, we don't have to have this fatalistic mindset where I'm mad, I'm offended, and they did this to me, and I'm never going to work with them. Always nevers are usually from the devil. God has always nevers, but they're blessings and promises and laws of God. The devil wants to pervert that and bring always nevers. I'm never going to work. I'm never going to. You don't know what God's going to do in the future. Somebody who today seems like your enemy in the future could be one of your strongest allies. The stakes of the battle against the spirit of offense are too high to ignore. This spirit wants to ruin your relationships, ruin your prosperity, and ruin your life. It's time to wage war on the spirit of offense and win. In this 4-part series, you'll get equipped to disarm and defeat the spirit of offense working against you. I'll teach you how the enemy weaponizes offense, why offense opens demonic portals over your life, keys to discerning the spirit of offense in operation, and strategies to defeat this destiny-killing spirit. Armed with this revelation, you won't fall prey to this demon's agenda to steal, kill, and destroy. Find it online at schoolofthespirit.tv.